process for valuation report preparation. Now, at the outset, let me mention uh, there cannot be a set design or diagram for preparation of valuation report. And why is that so? Because there are too many variables involved in the process of valuation, and therefore in the process of valuation report preparation. But we need to have a broad understanding about the process for valuation report preparation. And in this discussion that we have, my attempt or my aim is to share with you that broad understanding or that broad process that we need to follow for preparation of the valuation report. So where would it start from? It would start from number one, it would start from understanding of the business of the client. That is the first thing that we will need to do. Number two, it will have identifying time schedule and milestones. So when I'm doing the evaluation process is going to involve many steps. So all those steps will need to be need to be identified, and we will need to also have a timeline. So that is number three. And number two, and number three, what we will need to do, we will need to prepare a plan of action. So that is the first thing that we need to do in the process of preparing the valuation report. Now, so all this will are the three factors that we will need to take into account. Then we will also need to identify three more areas which are applicable to the valuation report preparation. And what those three areas are: identifying the key parameters. So what is the meaning of key parameters? The meaning of key parameters is, number one, what is the purpose for which we are doing the evaluation? And depending on the purpose of the evaluation, we will also need to determine what is the approach that we need to follow for the purpose of valuation. And again, based on the purpose, not only we need to decide as to which approach to follow for valuation, we will also need to decide as to which method to follow for valuation. Because we have understood in a previous session that under the income approach, there are different methods. Under the market approach, there are different methods. Under the asset approach, there are different methods. So we will need to identify the key parameters, and the key parameters will include the purpose for which we have to do the evaluation. And number two, the key parameter will include the approach or the method that we need to follow for the purpose of doing the evaluation. Number three, we will need to, is we need to look at the growth rates. So assuming that we are following the discounted cash flow method, so discounted cash flow method will require a determination of the growth rate as to how this company is going to grow during the explicit forecast period, and how this company is going to grow during the terminal period. And that is what we will need to determine. And how do we determine it? Number one, we will use our expertise, our experience, our knowledge, our database. That is what we will use. Plus, we will also use the information and interaction with the client, because the company is owned by the client. Client is supposed to have more information about the company and its products, and so both these sources together, then whatever information that we can get from third-party sources, all that put together we will use for predicting the growth rates. And number three, deciding on the valuation model. So that is, when I say deciding on the valuation model, that means deciding on the valuation method. So these are the 6 things that we will take into account, and I will repeat it once again. Number one, understanding of the business. Number two, identifying time, schedule and milestones. Number three, plan of action. Number four, identifying key parameters. Number five, predicting growth rates. Number six, deciding on the valuation model. So all these 6 things put together will help us to do the preparation of valuation report. So this will help us to get an idea as to what kind of contents the valuation report will need to have, and then we will start filling the blocks, putting the blocks together, and once we complete this process, we will have the valuation report in our hand. So as a practice, what we do, we generally will share the draft report with the client without disclosing the value that we have arrived at. The idea of sharing the draft report with the client is to give him an opportunity to ensure all the facts and figures which he has shared with us, which we have incorporated into the valuation report. Now, those numbers are revalidated by the client when he receives the draft valuation report. And this is to only ensure that whatever is incorporated in our valuation report is true and correct. So, friends, this is the process for preparation of the valuation report.